Good morning to you. It's 7:33 on Wednesday, the 29th of January. You're listening to Alun and Lou at breakfast. Families who've been affected by the contaminated blood scandal have met with government ministers at the Cabinet Office to discuss calls for compensation. The proposals put forward by the campaign group Factor 8 was rejected. In the 1970s and 80s, thousands of people with haemophilia were affected with hepatitis C or HIV due to contaminated blood transfusions and treatments on the NHS.
Well, Gary Webster from Eastleigh has haemophilia and was given the blood clotting protein Factor 8 in the 1970s and 80s, whilst at Trelaw College in Hampshire. Gary, morning. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. So you were treated at Trelaw College with Factor 8 as a child. Then at 18 years old, you were told that you'd been infected with HIV and that there was no cure. Talk me through what was going on at that time, what you were told, what your mindset was.
Good morning. Yes, I was about 10 when I went to Trelaw's, and about 17 years old, I was informed I had HIV, which could turn into AIDS, and sadly did for a lot of pupils at the college. And then about 5 years after that, I was told I had hepatitis C, through contaminated blood.
And at that time when you received that news, I mean, it was obviously a long time ago, but what was going through your mind? What did you understand about those conditions at the time and about the situation you were in?
Nothing, because no one really knew what it was. Doctors told us we had this infection. They just had a test for it, so I was HIV positive, and everyone that got it was probably dead within 2 years. And that was basically what we were told. And remembering I was 17 at the time, so, I was just preparing to leave college, go into work, and, you get told, well, you might not be here in 2 years.
I can't imagine the impact on your life, Gary. Could you help me with a little bit of my understanding of the compensation? I understand that there is a compensation arrangement in Ireland. I can't quite understand why the government is resistant to a compensation package here. What is it the government is saying that I'm not quite getting?
Well, we're the same. We don't understand. I mean, Sir Brian, the chairman of the Infected Blood Inquiry, wrote to them last year asking for decisive action to improve the financial support to people infected. We've had meetings, we've got this inquiry going on now, but nothing seems to happen. They seem to drag their feet. And now we're being told that the inquiry won't be report until mid-22, excuse me, and then the government have to then make up their mind from his report what they're going to do. But one person every 96 hours is dying, so, it's quite simple to work out. By that time, there's not going to be many people left.
How long has this been going on for, Gary? Because I'd imagine that the moment in which this situation was revealed and this mistake has come to light, the massive impact on people like you and the other 5,000 plus people who have been affected, surely it started then. I mean, how long have you been now fighting for some compensation?
Well, we've certainly been fighting for over 10 years now, but this whole saga has been going on for 30, 40 years. I mean, it started way back in the 70s when people getting infected and dying. I mean, going back to when I went to college with 90 haemophiliacs. There's less than 20 left now.
When you started the fight for compensation that is still going on now, what were your thoughts about how long it would take? And I mean, how has that impacted your life? Not the health element of it, but just the psychology of having to go through this and wake up every morning and think about it.
That's right. I mean, we meet up in London sort of 2 or 3 times a year, have done for the past 2 or 3 years, thinking, this may be the last time. And every time we seem to be getting the support of the government, because when the ministers and everyone comes to see you at the inquiry, it's all shake hands, very nice, we'll support you. But then when we get to the meetings like yesterday, they point blankly refuse and, just hang out until 2022, 23, 24.
Have you ever received an apology? Has anyone ever accepted liability and said, look...
No.
You've never
no
received an
one
apology
ever
for being infected with HIV, ever?
Not really. I think Cameron stood up in the Commons and apologised for the mistake, but other than that, no.
What's the next step for you, Gary? Because clearly this is just going around in circles, and as you're saying, that you have these meetings, they don't get anywhere. It's all great at the time, but then nothing happens. What's your next port of call? What are you going to do next?
Well, we'll obviously continue to campaign. We'll continue to go to the inquiry. The inquiry in London starts again on the 24th of February, where expert witnesses are coming to give their views. So we'll continue with that. And I don't know, we just hope we're all alive in 2022.
I can't imagine what it's been like for you, Gary. The story is horrific. Just to finish, I suppose I'm wondering, is there a point, because this has been going on for so long, that you put this to one side because you don't want this story to be constantly in your head, so you've learnt to sort of put it in a drawer? Or is it always, every day, every morning, there's a little thought of it there?
Oh, yeah, there is every morning. But, we all try and sort of box it up. But going back to the inquiry every 3 or 4 months, it's as though you're reliving it every time. And so it gets you down, and, it's destroyed lives. But we will keep on fighting. We're not going to give up. The government say no, but, we'll carry on.
Gary, thank you for joining us on the show, and good luck to you in your continued campaign to get some justice there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
BBC Radio Solent.